recently I've been going to their events, but I've had criticisms about how the organization has been operating. And I was concerned that eventually we might have a problem where corporate interests, and this became apparent a couple weeks ago here in Phoenix. There was the hands off protest that ended at Phoenix Pride, or the Rainbow Festival here in Phoenix. And we had a problem where organizers for Rainbow Fest, which is a gay event, the sponsors there did not want the signage coming in. They said, well, it's a safety issue. No, it wasn't a safety issue. They were trying to uh, censor what people are allowed to say. They didn't want a politically charged message like, well, we want the sponsors to feel safe. And shocker, Phoenix Police had a booth in there. Okay, we have a new problem. So if you've been following 5501 on Reddit, one of the people, she posted this. So, and you can pause and read here. So, hello. This is my final address to the community as the original creator. First, my role as the top moderator position here on Reddit has always been as an overseer of the movement to make sure it stays true to its roots. Last month, a group I was unaware of created a 5501 nonprofit and registered trademarks for the 5501 name and its derivatives. They sent me a letter of intention regarding their well intentions, and they included a position that they would hand over everything in the original to the original founder of the 5501 movement if I so requested. They weren't doing this to steal 5501, but to protect it. They seem to have intentions that align with the values of 5501, to keep it decentralized, to provide legal protections for volunteers, and to provide financial transparency and oversight for any donations fundraising for 5501. Makes sense, right? After the call with the trademark group, I talked with the leaders of the 5501 National Group, PAC, and MP primarily. I guess NP means nonprofit, about what the trademark group had proposed and the legal filings that were already put in place. Just the mention of this concept had responses from people in leadership roles, MP, I guess nonprofits, and PAC specifically, that they would quit the movement, and I was told that most of the movement would quit as well without even first deciding what the nonprofit status board would or could look like. This was a response that seemed emotionally charged and manipulative, and to it that these NP and PAC individuals have been actively fundraising and accepting donations in the $10,000 range on behalf of 501 through the PAC and MPs. I know the little down mark right there blocks that. So the legal groundwork of which was withheld. Now, to the next screenshot, and you can read this right now off of 5501's Reddit right now. So in my continuation of this, I discovered that the Facebook page I first created 10 years ago, when I first had the ownership of a PAC business page and other shadow 5501 business page that seemed to be only used for ownership of the 5501, I guess skipped over there. Something that myself and others can't remove. Soon after it came to my attention that I had been doxxed. Not my worst fear ever, but a stressful one nonetheless. So I informed them, still being completely open and honest with everyone. So it'd be safer if she walked away. It wouldn't be safer if they walked away. None of the other people who were doxxed were told to walk away, right? So it looked like 5501 was slowly and methodically going to be taken over, co-opted by a PAC as well as nonprofit. And from my vantage point, I was the only one keeping that from happening. So what brings us to yesterday, Tuesday, April 22nd, through my own circle of counsel and lots of consideration, I decided that a new nonprofit incorporation that could protect the organizers and participants of these events, as well as providing open, transparent support structure for handling the donations, that would be the best thing for 5501 at this time. It doesn't mean anything needs to change, it just means that the movement would have oversight and legal protections. This started the discussion in earnest with the trademark group, and at 5:30 p.m. yesterday, so that was Wednesday the 23rd. Yeah, today's Thursday, right? Yeah. So they began discussing this with the PAC nonprofit leaders. I'm not certain who all. Attempts at conflict resolution were met with attacks on my character, invasion of privacy on my personal life, and eventually my removal from the national organization discussion. What followed was my decision to pause the Reddit and regroup. So we go on to the third one. I don't think they were doing anything wrong here. I think we do need to question, once we start taking donations, 10,000 or more, that people who are donating that kind of money, who can throw that kind of money around, they should be questioned. We should have more questions for them. So, continue. So the pause. So, yeah, this is more, was it wrong for me to unilaterally make this decision? I don't think it was. They say I don't know. I don't think they did the wrong thing. They say, but I do know that there is not a system in place for us to currently have a democratic vote that isn't biased by individuals with conflicts of interest from nonprofits and PACs and their associates. Later that evening, the trademark group called and said that they've had to release the apologies. I'm not sure if it's both trademarks and the nonprofit or just one or the other, but it sounded like defeat, and there wasn't a precisely clear reason given. I can only assume it is a matter of time until I no longer have a voice here on 5501. The list goes on and on about what's transpired behind the scenes, but the point that the National has made is clear: get out of our way or we will make you. And after a lot of fearful discussion, we realized something that we think is important, that is bigger than 5501. This is bigger than Reddit. This is bigger than any single one of us, and no one is ever going to be able to control this one massive transformative and revolutionary movement. We are all 5501, and we will not be silenced. I advise that future protests demand much more transparency from the PACs, which I agree with, and nonprofits, and I feel that everyone connected to either a PAC or nonprofit should be welcome to help, but should not be accepting money or voting on the direction of the movement or having administrative control of pages or social medias related. I completely agree. They should have a seat at the table, but in advisory roles, not in controlling the movement. So, and this is to the user, to this user. I completely agree, and I felt like we were starting to see this at the beginning of January, based on a couple things that they have been doing, questionable things that we've been seeing some of the members behind the scenes doing. They were attending fundraising events, and if you look closely, you're going to figure out who they are, and they do need to be blasted for it. They were attending fundraising events for notable Democrats and Republicans. Or, as I've said before, the same people who line the pockets of Republicans do so for Democrats. And they were getting chummy with these donors. That is a problem. And to the person who posted this, if I were you, I wouldn't stand aside. I would fight to the last moment. You have control over the Reddit group? Good. You hang on to that control. That's exactly what you need to do. You are doing the right thing. You are preserving what 5501 started as. And even when I've had criticisms of the group, it's not about people like you. It's about the people that you're criticizing who are taking money from PACs and nonprofits. 10,000 is a lot of money. And anybody who has the ability to donate that kind of money, think about that kind of money. That could be somebody's rent for the year. Actually, that's kind of low when you think about it. 10,000 still has weight, even in inflation. Okay, so anybody donating 10,000 or more, they have probably ulterior motives, and they probably want something in return. So I do not blame you for treating these people this way. If they're accepting money, no, they should not have advisory roles whatsoever. And you're doing the right thing. And the rest of these people that are trying to corrupt what 5501 started as, they need to be blasted for exactly who they are. And they're making attacks on your character because they cannot attack your argument or your thought of reasoning. And that's an important thing. When people cannot attack your message and it is infallible, then they will attack your character, and that's how you know you got people. They shouldn't be attacking your character. Well, they can attack your character, and that tells us exactly what kind of people they are. So, regardless, we the people, we need to stay organized. And, there's supposed to be something happening on May 29th at Capitals and on May 1st. April 29th and May 1st. May 1st being May Day. It's not, a nationally observed holiday, but we should take advantage of it. We should, and this is what I've said to other people, at what point we are going to have to find a time we're going to have to make the effort to show up during the week. We're showing up on weekends. That's great. That how bad do we need it to get before we are willing to sit out there day and night, confront them at our Capitol, confront our elected officials when they're coming into work and when they're leaving at the end of the day. We have to send a clear and concise message to them. So, thank you for your time.